What's up, YouTube, and Merry Christmas to all you guys out there celebrating the holiday season. Unless you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, then happy Wednesday. Yeah, I wanted to give you guys a special video today where I went over the 10 best matches in pro wrestling in 2019. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I'm not Dave Meltzer out here trying to get star ratings for these things. This is what I enjoyed watching in 2019. So in the comments down below, let me know some of your favorite matches from this year, but these are the 10 best matches in pro wrestling in 2019. You guys know I like to give a long honorable mention list, and I have a couple here today because I just couldn't add them to the list, but they were such good matches, absolute bangers. Lucha Bros versus LAX at Rebellion, Undertaker and Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre, Extreme Rules, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans at Extreme Rules, Becky Lynch versus Asuka at the Royal Rumble, Daniel Bryan versus Buddy Murphy on SmackDown Live, Buddy Murphy versus Roman Reigns on SmackDown Live, finally Shane Taylor versus Bandino at ROH Best in the World 2019. But here we go, let's jump into the list at number 10 with Velveteen Dream versus Matt Riddle at NXT TakeOver. I'm a little biased because I went to the show, but oh my god, Velveteen versus Matt Riddle NXT TakeOver New York, I lost my voice the next day. What made this match so special was not the fact it was Velveteen versus Matt Riddle, I mean two guys who are absolutely amazing in the ring, but I genuinely did not know who was actually gonna win. You know when you watch championship matches, you know who might win the match, but during this match I could see a real reason why Velveteen would lose his title and also regain it, because Matt Riddle was on a rise at the moment and he really could have won that North American Championship. Number 9, Pete Dunne versus Walter at NXT TakeOver New York. This is my first time ever seeing Pete Dunne or Walter live, and again being at the same show, NXT TakeOver New York, again I lost my absolute voice. I did not know who was gonna win this match. It could go either way. Dunne could keep the title and hold the belt for over 800 days, or Walter could be the guy who could finally dethrone him. Walter looked like an actual challenger that really could take the championship from him, and Dunne looked like a champion who might not even lose the belt anytime soon. The chops, the finger snaps, Walter diving off the top rope. I didn't know he did that. I've watched a couple Walter matches, but I did not know this man goes to the top rope. There's only a handful of really good big guys in pro wrestling right now, and to watch someone like Walter in person doing the stuff that he was doing, absolutely amazing. He deserves that championship. Number 8, Nick Aldous versus Marty Scurll at NWA Crockett Cup. It is no secret that I am in love with the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA. It is no secret that I am a huge fan of Nick Aldous. He's absolutely amazing. He's a perfect person to be the world champion of the NWA because he really gives a throwback feel of guys like Harley Race, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, etc., wrestling in the modern day. And Marty Scurll represents the 2019 modern day wrestler who's extremely athletic, extremely charismatic, and also doesn't have to be 6'5" and 250 pounds of raw muscle. For this to be at the Crockett Cup, a tournament we haven't seen in pro wrestling in such a long time, and being a 2 out of 3 falls match, I mean that's a classic NWA World's title match. These two put on such a classic, and like I keep saying for all these matches, I really didn't know who could win. If anyone was gonna beat Aldous for that title, it might have been Marty Scurll, which honestly it still could be Marty Scurll because he showed up NWA Into the Power and most likely will be challenging Aldous for that title down the road. Everything was on point to look exactly like a traditional NWA championship match. But to see him retain and see the blood on his face after the match was something, whew. You guys really just need to go watch that yourself, honestly. Number 7, Tessa Blanchard versus Gail Kim at Impact Rebellion. This match is what WWE wanted to do with Charlotte and Trish. The modern day LeBron James versus the old school Michael Jordan. Gail Kim will probably go down as the greatest knockout of all time. Tessa Blanchard, she's probably the best right now. She is the best right now. She has a world championship match next month. And ever since Gail was back on television, Tessa and her always had this little bit of beef. You could always tell hostility between the two, and it really culminated in such an amazing match that was built up from Homecoming. It was perfect storytelling. It was great that Gail had this match while she was still in her prime because she did a great job for someone who hasn't been in the ring in a couple of years. Personally, if I had to pick a women's wrestling match outside the WWE, that simply was the best. Number 6, Nick Jackson versus Rey Fenix on AEW Dynamite. I guarantee most of you guys watching this video right now probably forgot that match even happened. Seeing the youngest of the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros go at it in the ring on TNT Live, that's a match I'm gonna need y'all to go watch right now. Without a doubt, everyone knows how talented both these guys are and how underrated both they are when it comes to them as singles wrestlers. If you ask me, Rey Fenix might be one of the best wrestlers today, and if he wasn't in that tag team, I can easily see him covered in all singles gold. And while Matt Jackson seems to have all the star power in the Young Bucks, I'm gonna say Nick is probably a better wrestler. This was that choreographed wrestling match that a lot of people hate nowadays, that just looks a little too fake, but I don't even care if it looks choreographed. That is so good. The super kicks, the flips, the flops, oh my god. Rey Fenix avoided super kick by doing a front roll, and the minute he got up, boom, got super kicked. Greatest spot in the match. It completely amazes me the kind of stuff they're able to do in the ring, and it's something that I need you guys to go watch right now. I don't even want to spoil it. Just go watch it. Number 5, Andrade versus Rey Mysterio. All of them. They had such an amazing feud that I wish, personally, that was on WrestleMania. Not necessarily Samoa Joe versus Mysterio. That was cool and stuff. I mean, it only lasted a couple seconds. But I wanted to see Andrade versus Mysterio at WrestleMania. I wanted to see Andrade versus Mysterio at Fastlane. I wanted to see Andrade versus Mysterio for the rest of 2019. Honestly, they could have been wrestling each other this entire year, and I would have watched every single one of those matches and never would have been bored at all. Especially as Andrade tried to go for the Three Amigos and really taunted towards Eddie Guerrero. The heat that man got during that match was absolutely insane. Rey even busted out a crucifix bomb a couple different times. He also did a Canadian Destroyer. Rey, how old are you, man? Huh? You're too old for this. And it's a shame that Andrade didn't do anything special after this, because honestly, this was a feud that really should have pushed him up towards the Intercontinental title to win the belt, even not even go for that title and go straight to the World Heavyweight Championship. Number 4, Kenny Omega versus Pac at All Out. Originally, this is supposed to be Omega versus Moxley, and you know what? We saw the Full Gear match. It was pretty good. I mean, it was a little violent. But then again, who hasn't watched CZW before and saw someone get smashed in the face of the light tube? So we shouldn't be too surprised by violence. But when Moxley got injured and Pac replaced him, I never thought this match was going to have the chemistry and electricity that it had. So much to the point that they ran this match back at least once or twice on Dynamite. And while those matches never lived up to All Out, it was amazing to see the chemistry that two guys you would never really expected to do so well together had together. This match had spot after spot after spot, and I loved it. And I wouldn't have changed a single thing. Number 3, Cody versus Dustin Rhodes at AEW Double or Nothing. This was the selling point for me to actually pay to watch Double or Nothing. When you say Cody versus Goldust, I'm like, oh man, not the same thing from Fastlane. This is the match they wanted to have in WWE that they were never given, and I'm kind of glad they waited until they left WWE, because I don't know if it's ever been that good to begin with. You could feel the electricity between these two as the match started up until it ended. And even Cody's post-match speech, I need my brother, that was so emotional. Cody's underrated, bro, when it comes to these promos. He knows how to evict some emotion out of people. This deserved the 5-star rating that I was given. Dustin Rhodes, wow, I'm surprised, man. You're in your 50s and you just had a 5-star match on pay-per-view in 2019. I'm amazed. Goldust or Dustin, he's one of those guys also that just gets better with age. He's like a fine wine or cheese. He moves so well. I think he moves better now than he did in like 1993 when he was still Intercontinental Champion and had fake boobs. Number 2, Tessa Blanchard versus Sami Callihan at Impact Slammiversary. Tessa was the first woman to main event Slammiversary in Impact Wrestling history. And not just her main eventing, it was an intergender match that was main eventing, which to my knowledge, that's the first intergender match to ever main event a big pay-per-view like this before. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the thing about this match is it didn't feel like an intergender match. It felt like wrestler versus wrestler. Underdog versus overlord bully. Tessa Blanchard, if you want to compare her to someone, honestly, she's like a more athletic version of China. A lot of people, when you watch intergender matches, it looks like man versus woman, but honestly, this was the first time I ever watched an intergender match personally, and I just saw wrestler versus wrestler. It just one happened to be a woman. The ending wasn't the best in the world, seeing Callihan get the win, but honestly, now looking at where we are in 2019, seeing that Tessa now has a world title shot, I think that was probably the best thing they ever could have done, because if Tessa had just beat Callihan, that's kind of the end of the story. But now, she could be the world champion. I'm gonna say it one more time just so you can hear me. She could be the world champion. I'm gonna say that one more time for the little girls watching this. She could be the world champion of a major wrestling promotion. Impact Wrestling's creating history right now. You guys need to watch. And number 1, Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 35. This was the greatest moment in wrestling history. I've said it before in other videos. This was the greatest moment in pro wrestling history. To see Kofi Kingston, a man that looks like me, the same skin color, hold that WWE Championship over his head was a moment that I will never ever forget. I'm pretty sure I actually invoked tears from seeing two dudes in tights fight over a belt. That made me cry. Personally, that was the greatest wrestling story that will ever be told to mankind. The 11-year journey, getting the opportunity, having it taken away from him, earning it back, only to be ripped away from him again, to then having the match. When he kicked out that running knee, I was like, oh my God, there's actually hope. He might be the champion. We all watch WWE. We know not to give our hopes up too soon because, you know, sometimes they like to, what's the nice way to say it? Screw up everything. But not this time. He hit the Trouble in Paradise. That 1-2, and oh my gosh, I thought the world stopped before he hit 3, because in that moment I realized I'm going to see a black man become the WWE champion. Yes, we had The Rock. Shut up. Kofi became the WWE champion. But those are my 10 favorite wrestling matches of 2019. In the comments down below, let me know yours. Hope you guys are having a very Merry Christmas, and it's also Rusev's birthday on Rusev Day. So make sure to like, comment, share, and always subscribe, and we outie.
We going up like 1,000. I'ma flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. We going up like 1,000. I'ma flex just like a muscle man Malcolm. When it just like 1, 2, 3. If you like the channel, this subscribe. If you like the channel, this subscribe. If you like the channel, this subscribe.